The Constellation of You, poem by Shiloh Sophia from Shelter of the Sacred. We are creations living within a creation, created by a creator. We are created to create. When we create with sacred intent, we align with the essence of creation as creators. When we create unconsciously without thought for creation, we unweave that which has been woven. Our specific identity is an organization of cosmic intent, particles of potential in a design so impossibly beautiful if we only knew who we really are, cooling sacks of stars, filled with the glory of Creator's intention for us, stewards of creation through our creativity. The perfect conditions are supple, and the summoning of your particle cellular enclosure is humming with causation. What will you cause and create? The origin story of the fire in your blood and bone, remnants of expanding stars reaching Earth. Your cosmic address is the constellation of you. You are created to create. We are sacks of cooling stars. This is a belief and teaching that's been passed on to us by our matriarch, Sue Hoya Sellers, and she passed that on to my teacher, Shiloh Sophia, who's passed it on to me. And my intention for this class is to guide you through a process to help you reclaim your cosmic address. We are made from the stuff of stars and of the same matter as everything in creation. Welcome. My name is Milagro Soriano Rivera. I am a Color of Woman Intentional Creativity teacher, and this is Starcatcher, a reclamation of our cosmic address. Let's get started. Intention. This is an invitation to be with the inquiry, who lives here? And this is in alignment with the context of being made of stars. Who is this beautiful creation made from the stars? How will exploring this help you navigate your life and your stories? What are you here to claim? What are you open to? Let us start by doing some metacognitive writing. Metacognitive basically means thinking about thinking, and what this exercise is you actually thinking about the inquiry, who lives here, while moving the pen. What we're doing is creating your own personal codex, and your codex is information and data that is embedded in your DNA, in your cells that you may not know, but is unique only to you. Some of these markings might be markings and symbols or shapes that you remember that seem familiar to you, that you use a lot. Some of them may be markings or codes that you've never seen before. It can be a form of handwriting or symbols. It really doesn't matter. Just as you think, who lives here, and think about your intention for this activity. Just keep moving the pen from top to bottom, making your marks until you fill the whole page. I've sped up the video here. However, please feel free to take as long as you like. You can pause the video at any point and immerse yourself in the process. There's no right or wrong way. Just keep moving the pen, holding on to the inquiry, who lives here? Choose 3 colors to add for the next step. Adding your first color. This color is representing I live here. As you embody this thought and being in this space, while adding the color, only color around the marks, and at the same time you're leaving a white space. So we're not coloring all the way up to the line, you're leaving space between the color and the line, as you can see there. You may need to use a small brush depending on how many marks you have, and just focus on the tip of your brush as you just embody I live here. If you get any paint on the line, it's okay. There's no right or wrong way. You just want to focus on where the brush is going. This way we are not thinking other thoughts, and we're just focusing and being in this energy of I live here. And you want to do this around about 3/4 of your page. Just leaving the glow wherever you can. And the 3 colors don't matter. We're just building a background here for our constellation. What do you think of when you think I live here? Who is it that is embodying and living in this physical form in relation to the stars and the earth, the wildlife? Who is it that's connected to everything? As we add this second color, I want to invite you to feel in your body, what does it feel like to be a constellation? How does this concept of being made of stars feel in your body? Do you feel a connection to the cosmos? Do you feel it in your cells? Where in your body are you feeling any resistance to this concept? Continue moving the brush with your second color, and same as before, being mindful of the glow, and just notice what you're feeling. And where you feel it. Is it a tightening in your chest? Do you feel a pull in your belly? What does your constellation look like? What form does your constellation take? When you think of constellations, and maybe when you think of zodiac signs or just clusters of stars, what might yours look like? The shape of an animal, maybe a flower, just a cluster forming a swirl, maybe it's a chalice. Each star has a story to tell, and together they make up you. How does that feel? With our third color, we're going to add a lot of water and make it really watery and add a wash over the whole page to integrate everything you've just done. This is called glazing. If you want some of the areas to be a little darker, just add some more, a heavier layer in odd places, wherever you want. And you can take a rag and wipe some of it off. And then take some of your excess paint and you can just color the back of your page using all of the colors in random design. And this is just to help when we do the next steps, which is we're going to be cutting out some stars. The back of the page will have a design element that is cohesive with the front. Will you join me for a visioning? I invite you to close your eyes and in your visionary screen to see your painting as it is. See yourself sitting at the top of the earth, and all you see around you is the vastness of the galaxy, bringing your awareness to how you are a part of it and it is a part of you because you are a cooling star. What do you feel as you remember where you are from? Do you feel a tugging or tingling as your cells remember? Where do you feel it? Reach out as if to touch the stars and notice that your hand and whole body is now twinkling and shimmering like the stars. Your whole body is now glowing from head to toe in starlight and shimmering as you become one with the Milky Way. As you look around you, notice that there are several stars that seem to be shimmering brighter than the others, and you feel a strong connection to them. These stars represent the stories in your life that you want to heal at this moment and compose your cosmic address. As you look closer, you notice that each one has a symbol glowing in its center. Reach out and grab 6 or 7 stars, just noticing each symbol for now. See yourself seated on the earth again and notice that the stars are still shining brightly in your hand. Bring your hands to your heart and place your stars there. See each star shooting into your heart and be with the feeling of knowing that your heart is the keeper of your cosmic address. When you are ready, open your eyes. Let's make some stars. With some white paint and a small brush, we're gonna draw some stars free-handedly. And I'd like you to focus on some of the markings on your codex. And if any stand out to you, just draw a star around it. And the stars can be irregular, imperfect. Stars are like snowflakes, so each one is different. And without controlling too much where the brush goes, just keep drawing around elements that just you're called to. Notice if any match symbols you saw in your vision. Some of the symbols, as I said, you may not be familiar with, but if that's where the brush goes, then just draw a star around that shape. Continue moving around the page until you've drawn 6 or 7 stars. Let's cut out some stars. Oracleizing your constellation. What wisdom are you claiming as part of this journey? Each star is a container that holds a story that wants to be healed, and it holds that medicine. What will you claim? Take each star and for each one, write down the symbol that represents the aspect that you are healing and the new story that you want to create regarding that aspect or story in your life. This star for me is about my ancestral connection and reclaiming it. knowing that my ancestors are always watching over me, giving me guidance and counsel. So take each of your stars and oracleize them. Focus on the image and the new story that you like to create for it. Using the remaining sheet of paper from which you cut your stars out, we're going to cut strips of paper as tags, one for each star. What we're doing with these is we're going to actually write down the word that represents each star or symbol. So you'll cut one out that will coincide with each of your stars, and it will have the name of the word that that symbol is embodying for you. Feel free to do this in any color that you wish. If you have a dark background, then I would suggest using a white or even gold. If you have a light background, then use a darker color. But as you see, I will be going back and forth. I start off with white and I will later add some black just to give the lettering some texture. Here I am just adding a border of such, and I love this process because there is no wrong or right way. So just do whatever feels natural to you. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. If you want to add glitter on the edges, feel free. Gold, anything that you like. These are just tags that we're going to be attaching as we're claiming the medicine. So this rose was for beauty for me, so I'll just set it aside and move on to the next one. So take your time with this, feel into it, be with the process, and remember to always be aware of your body, what you're feeling as you're writing these words and claiming this medicine. This cage represents freedom for me. I'm having a little camera trouble here. But here we go. Freedom. Claiming freedom. Freedom from believing the stories that used to run me. Freedom from believing that I don't have a voice. Freedom to be healed enough to know that I matter, that I can choose love, freedom to be me. You get the idea. I'm going to leave you here to go through your process and claim your healing. What is the new story you're claiming? What is the antidote for that which you are healing? On the back of your tag, write down a statement or an affirmation related to that word. That will be your new framework for how you relate to that story in your life. So for ancestors, I wrote, I am grateful for the gift of resilience inherited from my ancestors, knowing that they're the reason that I am as strong as I am and why I've overcome so many things. So I'm going to give you some quiet here so you can really hear the wisdom that's coming through as you claim your antidotes and write your affirmations. Let's put it all together. With your hole punch, just put a hole at the top of each tag. And then we'll move on to putting a hole at the top and the bottom of each of your stars. So that we can attach them. Next we'll be taking some red thread and depending on how large the hole is, you may have some difficulty in sewing it through. You can use a needle, depending on the type of thread you're using, or I use an awl and just feed it through and tie one thread to the star. Okay. And then the other end to one of the tags, the tag that actually corresponds with that image. So we're going to do this for all of the stars until they're all threaded. And then move move on from there. Tying each of your stars onto your piece of wood. We're going to start adding some other elements to decorate and personalize our Starcatcher. Here I took 2 pieces of thread and I'm tying them to the ends so that we can use this to hang our Starcatcher from. So just tying on the ends, that's fine. And if any of the threading gets into your way, you can definitely trim them, but I waited till the end to trim just to see, because I was still trying to figure out what called to me, if I was going to use those same threads to add anything else onto it. So they could get in the way, but that's all part of the creation. So I created a couple of accessories just with some copper wire. You can just bend them and twirl them with a needle nose plier. No special skill required, and just leave a little loop at the top. I have some beads, some glass beads, some paper beads, and just created some attachments. So this is where some of those extra strings and that length of the thread can come in handy, because we'll be attaching them with those. And in some cases we may be attaching them with a separate piece of thread between the stars. Here I'm tying on the thread. And I'm just going to take one of those and add it on. I know some of this is off camera because it was so long. It's hard to capture it all. I think you will get the general idea. This next part can be quite time intensive. You get lost in it, and fidgeting and twisting and twirling and playing with each piece as you personalize it. So just take your time, be creative, and anything goes. So if you have any old jewelry or broken jewelry that you can use the pieces for, or any special pendants or anything that you like to use that you have available, It's all welcome here. Whatever calls to you. My invitation is while you're moving your hands and creating, bending the wire and threading the beads and thinking about how you're going to put it all together. Stay in that inquiry of who lives here in your connection to all creation. I wanted to create a circle around the Starcatcher to encompass our constellation. So I took my drum and created an inner circle, and then I drew an outer circle on paper and I cut those out. And what I'm using here is red ribbon and double-sided tape to attach the ribbon, and we're going to wrap it around the whole circle. This red thread circle that I'm creating represents the circle and the red thread connection that I have. The red thread is a symbol of protection and connection, and a talisman that holds that energy of connection for me to my ancestors, to the future, to our community, and to everyone who takes this class. It represents my piece of the red thread. One of the teachings is that we each have a piece that we're responsible for, even though we're part of the whole and the collective. You're only responsible for your piece. And since our Starcatcher is a representation of our constellation and you being in awareness of what is yours to cause and create and the new stories that you're creating and healing for yourself. So we'll just keep wrapping until you go all the way around. And I'm going to fast forward here. As you're nearing the end, you're going to leave a tail, and we're creating a loop. And that loop we're actually going to wrap around the stick. So here we are attaching the circle to the Starcatcher. I'm just wrapping the ribbon around and with some double-sided tape. And if you like to use a glue gun, you can do that as well. We're just going to attach it. And there we have it. And you can attach additional ribbon, which I'm going to do right now. Just taking some more of the red ribbon just for decorative reasons. I want to add a strip on the outside just to give it some balance. And we'll take the other piece and also add that. And you're all done. I hope you enjoyed creating your Starcatcher, and I hope this changes how you see the stars. Keep shining, stay bright, and may love be at the center of all choices.